The movie starts with a view of the roads and streets of Paris. Jesse, our male lead character, has written a bestseller book, and he was going to read it in a bookstore in France. While he was having a discussion with the audience, we come to know that France is the last stop of his book tour. He discusses that this book reflects the time when he met a French girl on a train and spent the evening together. He was referring to the time he spent with Céline, 9 years back. Jesse was talking about the idea of his upcoming book, when he looks across the window to find Céline staring at him. He bids farewell to his audience and reaches out to Céline. Both of them were happy yet surprised to meet each other after 9 years. After exchanging former greetings, Céline and Jesse decides to go to a cafe for coffee. On their way, Céline asks Jesse that if he came to Vienna after 6 months of their first meeting, to which Jesse replied that he didn't. Céline takes a sigh of relief as she was also not able to come to Vienna as her grandmother died that day. Céline asks Jesse his reason of not showing up, but he didn't say anything. Turns out that Jesse actually went to Vienna, but he doesn't want Céline to feel guilty about this whole thing. Both of them were feeling that it was not a good idea to not to exchange numbers or addresses. They didn't even know each other's last names. Céline tells him more about herself. She tells him that she is working for Green Cross. This is an environmental organization that addresses different environmental issues like water contamination, use of chemical weapons, etc. They reached a small cafe where they seated comfortably and ordered coffee. Jesse likes that place and wishes to have cafes like this in America. That's when Céline brings up that she was living in America from 1996 to 1999 on a student visa, as she was studying in New York University. Jesse regrets lack of communication between them, as he was also living in New York at that time. If they had been in touch, they would have ended up being with one another. Anyhow, Céline tells him that after completing her master's degree, she came back to France. Céline was quite disturbed by all the violence, murders, and serial killers on media reports. As she tells Jesse the incident where, upon hearing some noises at the fire escape, she called 911 for help, but the cops made her feel more insecure. That's when she decided to go back to France. Céline tells Jesse about her trip to Warsaw, Eastern Europe, when it was a strict communist regime there. She stayed there for 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks felt like the most peaceful and soulful time to her. Away from her regular habits, away from all the hustle and bustle, she only spent her time walking around and thinking about all the perspectives of life. Jesse picks up Vienna's talk again, reminding Céline that it's been 9 years. Céline asks about any difference in her physical appearance that Jesse has noticed. Jesse tells her that he is more familiar with her open hair. Jesse also jokes about her being much thinner and skinnier before. They both were of the view that getting older is better for them, as now they can appreciate the happy moments. Jesse tells Céline about being a drummer in a band where all the band members had fun, but they always talk about getting bigger shows. Their lead singer was trying to get record deal for their band, but now that band didn't exist anymore. Céline lights a cigarette while listening to Jesse. He asks for a cigarette for himself too. Céline picks up the discussion and continues with her experience. She has also noticed that people in her field hop in with big revolutionary ideas and all, but they just focus on the goal, not on the process. Small achievements in the whole process give real joy, as sometimes small gestures counts rather than big revolutionary ideas. She shares an example of a village in Mexico, where she was working in an organization where people were concerned about getting pencils for children. It wasn't about innovations or big ideas. It was about small achievements. Céline mentions her nature of being dissatisfied all the time. According to her, she always looks for the betterment, and her desires never tend to end. Jesse responds that desire is the fuel of life, and not having desires at all is a symptom of depression. He further tells Céline that it's okay to desire as it is healthy. Fulfillment of wants and desires give happiness and a sense of entitlement, but it should not affect the mind negatively if desires are not fulfilled, as life is supposed to be hard, and from the sufferings we learn. Céline discusses her very private belief systems with Jesse. She tells him that she does not follow any one belief system, to which Jesse shares his close experience with monks at Trappist monastery where he has closely observed them. As he was expecting them to be very stern and strict, they appeared completely opposite to his expectations. They were very easy-to-go people, living in peace and harmony without any hassle. Living around monks was a refreshing experience for Jesse, as they are content with their lives, unlike other people running around for more money or position, or opportunities, etc. Céline tells an interesting story about her encounter with monks. Her ex-boyfriend wanted to be a Buddhist, so he wanted to go to Asia for this purpose. Céline went along him. Each time when he went to monasteries, a monk, maybe influenced by ex-boyfriend's good looks, offered to satisfy his physical pleasure needs. As Jesse was about to fly away from her, he wanted to spend a little more time with Céline. He asks her to show him around as they walk. Céline suggests going to the garden path for a walk. As they were strolling, Jesse asked her about the night, referring to the moment when they made love with each other. Surprisingly, Céline didn't remember that they made out 9 years ago. Jesse helped her recall by telling her that they made love in a park, late at night. He even remembered the brand name of the precaution that they used that night, He was dumbfounded as Celine didn't remember any of the happenings of them being close. Celine started recalling a little bit, and explains to Jessie that her mind is trained to shut painful memories away, so that they won't hurt her. Time spent with Jessie was not painful itself, but it drags her mind to the time of her grandmother's funeral, as it was the same day when they were supposed to meet again. She talks more about her wretched emotions when she saw her grandmother in the coffin, where her hands were not as warm and comfy as they used to be. Celine remembers crying her eye at the funeral, because of not being able to see her grandmother again, and also because she thought she would never be able to see Jessie again. But as they were together again, they wanted to rewrite their memory, not as the previous sad ending of never seeing each other again. Jessie says that memories don't end until characters are alive. They can always relive and amend their memories. Celine shares that she is accustomed to write journals from a very young age. Lately she read one of her 21-year-old journal, and she realized that she has not changed much. Her thought process is still the same. Jessie tells her about a study conducted on some people who won lottery tickets, and some people who became handicapped because of something. One group was extremely ecstatic, whereas other group was depressed to the core. In a period of 6 months, this periodic mood was vanished from both of the groups, and their permanent mood or nature came into play, showing that jolly people will remain jolly, no matter what happens in their lives. Grouchy people will stay grouchy. As both of them walks down the garden path to the streets of Paris, Celine tells that she has a feeling that she will die before fulfilling her desires to learn Chinese, to paint, and to write songs, etc. Celine asks Jessie dramatically, if it's the last day for both of them to be alive, then what would he like to talk about? Jessie responded that he wouldn't talk about his book, of course. Jessie showed his desire to take Celine to bed, which she dodged beautifully. They slightly touched the topic of their romantic desires. Jessie asks Celine to sing songs that she has composed, but she makes excuses as she was not carrying her guitar. Celine reminds him that he has a flight to catch and drags him out of there. As they walk alongside of River Seine, Jessie tells Celine about his wife, who is an elementary teacher. He also has a 4-year-old son, Henry. Celine also shares that she has a boyfriend, who is a photojournalist, and he is away most of the time. Jessie convinces Celine for a boat ride in River Seine. He also calls his driver to pick them up from the next stop as his flight is about to take off. Celine was enjoying the boat ride for the first time, while Jessie was looking around at landmarks. Jessie tells Celine that he wrote that book as an attempt to find Celine. Celine tells him that she never recovers from breaking up with someone, as there is always some part of each person's personality that is distinct from others, and she, being someone who always notices small things, misses those characteristics. As their boat ride is coming to end, Jessie tells Celine about his unhappy marriage. He says that his wife is a good teacher, good mom, but they haven't come closer in 4 years. Celine tries to explain that to expect same passion as before, especially after having kids, is not realistic. As they get off from the boat, they see Jessie's driver standing there to receive Jessie. Jessie offers Celine a ride to her place. While in the car, Celine and Jessie got into a bit heated argument over the news of Jessie being married. Apparently Celine wasn't ready to cope with that news. Jessie tells her more about his marriage, that they are just together for the sake of their son, and nor he is happy, neither his wife. Upon reaching Celine's place, Jessie asks for a song again, to which she invites him upstairs to her apartment to sing a song to him. The ending was pretty much unclear, that whether he stayed there or went to airport afterwards.